Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Alright, folks, today we are going to do chests again, and we are doing max level chests this time around. So, without further ado, there are no real special surprises today, but we are going to enjoy ourselves anyway. Let's take a quick look at the rules and see what we've got from there. Number 1. All items are fully upgraded to level 18. Number 2. I am assuming that the player is at the end game and trying to figure out what is the best weapon overall. Number 3. Different playstyles can alter the rankings of various weapons for different people. I try to stay neutral and take all playstyles into account. Hopefully, I don't let my biases show too much. And number 4, all items are reinforced, because in the end game, you have no excuse not to keep your gear reinforced at all times. Now, unless I suddenly change my mind throughout all of these upcoming videos, you are going to see screenshots of all of my max level items without reinforcement. Now, this is because I already took all of these screenshots in one of my previous tier videos, and frankly, it took me weeks of boring, cutting, pasting, cropping, and I'm not doing it again. I'm sorry, but I'm just not. So none of the images that I show are going to show the reinforcement, but I just want to let you know reinforcement does matter. And just to emphasize this really quick, here's an example of a max level item without reinforcement, and here's one with reinforcement. Notice the significant difference in stats? Do not forget to reinforce your gear. Starting with the S tier. This is the top tier. These are going to be our super versatile items, best of the best, things that are used in multiple builds. A tier, those are going to be excellent items. Top tier for at least one build, and often versatile, but not necessarily the best of the best. B tier are strong items that you really aren't going to complain about, but they have limited use or are eventually outclassed by other items. C tier. These items are fine. You can't go wrong with them, but you will eventually replace them, or you are going to replace them pretty quickly. D tier. Maybe these items have a little bit of a niche use, but otherwise they're really not that useful or worthwhile. And F tier. The item is trash. It's not any good. Don't bother using it. Starting us off in C tier is the Assassin's Cloak, and while it has a lot of stats, it just doesn't do any of them very well. It's an okay general purpose chest, but it's just not all that great. Our first D tier today is the Bikini Top, as this is practically the best movement speed bonus, but that's pretty much it. It's got an HP bonus too, but not all that helpful. The bronze breastplate is going into A tier, however, as this is pretty much the best melee damage chest. Solid armor, excellent hit point bonus as well. In B tier, I am putting the Carapace breastplate, as it's pretty much best in slot for an explosive build, and it's useful for a mining build that uses the Burnzooka as well. The Caveling chest I'm putting into F tier, as it's pretty much just a weaker version of the Hunter's Cloak, so don't waste your time leveling this to 18. Level the Hunter's Cloak instead and use that for anything in your end game. The Cooking Pot Tub is also going into F tier, as its stats are just really low and the food drain really isn't all that useful in the end game. The Copper Breastplate also going into F tier, because while it is great in the early game, it serves no real purpose in the end game. The Cosmos Breastplate, though, this one goes into B tier, as it is a decent option for endgame mining, as well as for melee combo builds. Cupid's Tunic, god, this thing sucks. It's going into D tier, as because the only thing it's useful for is its gimmick of improving your charm effects. So if you want to play with a charm attack, put this on to help it out. The Dracularva Cape is going into B tier, as this is pretty much your best choice for a lifesteal build. It's got decent armor and hit points as well, so that doesn't hurt. Galaxite Torso I'm throwing into C tier as it's essentially a lot weaker than Ivy's chest place, and it has 34 armor bonus that Ivy doesn't have. That's not nothing, but also I don't know if it's enough. If you like it though, hey, more power to you. The Gemstone Garment, this one is also going into C tier as it's really not that bad if you want a speed build. The Gingerbread Top though, this one goes right into F tier as it's got worse stats than the Copper Breastplate, and the food bonus really is not needed in endgame either. The God Sent King Breast Armor, this one I'm throwing into A tier as it is very, very strong chest, and it can be good as a set or just separate it and just use it by itself. The set bonus itself really isn't all that great, but all of the powers in each piece for its set combine really well to just really enhance your abilities. The Hazmat Suit I'm throwing into D tier because it's just a weaker version of the bronze chest. Really, the only advantage of it is it's cheaper to upgrade since it starts at a higher level, but personally, I would just spend my resources upgrading the bronze. The Hivebone Breastplate I'm actually throwing into B tier as it gets much stronger in the end game. If you don't have the Scarab one yet, then this is pretty decent for your Thorns build. The Hunter's Cloak is an A tier item, absolutely best range damage chest in the game. The Iron Breastplate, it is down to B tier by the end game because while it is still a really useful piece of armor and very useful in other builds, the slime armor is better. Ivy's Thorn Harness is our first S tier of the night as it is useful for the poison build and is an excellent end game piece of armor. You're not going to want to skip this, definitely level it up. The Kelp Mantle, B tier through and through. It's an amazing chest for fishing. The Larva chest is D tier because while it does have a decent mining bonus, that movement speed penalty really kind of sucks and it's not really that forgivable at the end game anymore. The Magma Torso Armor, B tier. Yes, it is, because it is the best in slot for burn builds. And the Mercenary Suit Tank Top, well, that's going into C tier because it doesn't suck, but you gotta pair it with other dodge gear to make it useful. The Miner's Labor Suit is A tier because it is still the best mining chest, and it is extremely useful in a bunch of melee builds as well. You'll get a lot of versatility out of this. The Mold Web Breastplate is going into C tier, as I think that if you're going for a damage versus boss build, then this is worth looking at. Otherwise, not so much. And of course, we've got the undisputed champion of chest pieces right now. We've got the Ninja Garments right there in S tier. The Octarine Breastplate I'm putting into B tier as I think it's still pretty good if you're going for a melee attack speed chest. Now in the starter level video, Omeroth's chest plate was an S tier item. Where does it stand now in the end game? Way down into the D tier, as the armor isn't bad, but the rest of it just isn't great. There's other gear with double the damage bonus and other gear that has more than double the speed bonus. Maybe not combined, but otherwise you're not really going to use this armor in the end game. It's a real shame because it started off great. The Paladin Harness is going into F tier as it just upgrades so poorly that by level 18 it's outclassed by multiple other chests and there's no reason to use it anymore. The Peasant Chest, this one is also F tier as, yeah, this may have the highest dodge bonus in the game, but it's not the only chest that has the highest dodge bonus in the game. It's just the worst chest to have the highest dodge bonus in the game. The Pot Tub, this one is going into F tier also, unfortunately, because it is outclassed in every way by the Ninja Chest. While this thing might be decent in the mid game, it just falls flat at the end. The Raincoat going into D tier as its resistance to slow is still useful, however, just barely, and frankly, once you reach end game, I would kind of throw this into F tier. All right, coming into B tier, we've got the Ranger Tunic, as I personally think that this is one of your best choice for ranged attack speed builds. But ranged attack speed builds aren't all that great at the end game in my opinion. However, if you want it, this is your chest piece. The Scarab Harness, this one is going into A tier, as I think that the Scarab set is great for some of the strongest buildings in the game. However, I am going to limit this chest a little bit in the end game because There are a lot of other builds, and it's just slightly more limited than some of these other chest pieces when it comes to end game usage. Still amazing, don't get me wrong. The Scarlet Breastplate, right into F tier. I mean, nothing falls from grace quite like the Scarlet Armor. It is just outclassed in every way by the Ninja Armor. The Scholar's Cloak I am also throwing into F tier, as this is also just a weaker version of the Ninja Chest, although I do have a feeling it's going to get overhauled in the 1.0 update and be more mage oriented, or maybe warlock oriented. I don't know, we'll find out. The Slime Armor is going right into A tier, as while it is a bit basic, it has the highest raw damage bonus on any chest piece. The Solarite Cuirass, this one is going into C tier, as while you do gain attack speed, you lose a little bit on everything else over the Dracularva Cape. So if speed is what you want, then it might be worth it. Otherwise, wear the Dracularva Cape. The Spooky Blanket Cape, this one's going into F tier, as it's got low dodge, low movement speed, plenty of other better items, even among the D tier class. The Stone Chest Plate going right into D tier, as it's got that whole defense against bosses gimmick that I'm just not a fan of, but I cannot deny it's got good hit point and armor bonuses. When you got a towel, that's also going into D tier, just like the Bikini Top. It's pretty much the exact duplicate item. It's got the movement speed, it's got the hit point boost, it's got nothing else. The Trench Coat going into D tier, as it's got that good pickup radius, so you'll put it on when you need it, take it off when you don't. Wild Warden, I think this might change in the future, but right now this one's going into D tier, as once we see those new pets, then yeah, this will be more useful. But by this point in the game, you're going to be using the Owl Lux most likely, and so you're unlikely to get a real advantage out of the Wild Warden. And falling into F tier to finish things up, we have got the Wooden Chest. Just like the Copper Armor, it's just not useful in the end game. And that wraps everything up for today's episode. If you enjoyed yourself, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're interested in watching my videos regularly, and if you feel like adding some extra support to the channel, you can always join our Patreon or become a YouTube member. There are links in the description. Thanks again for watching, you're all wonderful, and until next time, stay crazy.